Well, thank you, and welcome to Real Estate 360. I am Jason Miles, and I am here with
Steve Connolly.
Is that what they're calling you today?
Yeah, that's what they call me. Hashtag unemployable. It may have something to do with the way I look.
I think it is. I don't
have any tats or anything like that.
No. I think it has something to do with the bling, maybe. Maybe it's the sunglasses. I'm not quite sure.
Could be. Maybe it's the hair.
I don't think it's the hair.
No.
Because I can relate. Albeit I am unemployable as well.
That's true.
That is true. I just don't carry the title.
Yeah, so maybe you should tell everybody.
So microphone check, Steve. Mic check, Steve. What are we doing today?
Well, we are going to talk about three things that every wholesaler needs to know.
Wait a minute. Okay, three things you said, right?
Yeah.
Because I was so unfocused. Now, for all of those that are listening and not watching, you've got to go to Real Estate 360's YouTube channel and just see the vision. The vision. Of what's here, of what
unemployable looks like.
Yeah, come see what unemployable looks like. Come see. And oh, by the way, shameless plug, it'd be great for those people that are listening on a podcast, iTunes or whatever. Listen, drop us a line. Tell us what you think, whether you love us or you hate us. Write something. Give us a comment. Leave a comment. We love to hear that stuff, good or bad. Okay?
Yes, we do.
Please do. So iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all that great stuff. Go there, download what we have, subscribe, and just leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you want to know, what you feel about the content you have, and we can and then we can go from there. But today,
yes,
myself and microphone Steve over here, microphone check Steve, are going to be talking about. Can you say it again?
Mic check Steve.
Mic check Steve.
Mic check Steve. We don't need the phone in there.
Oh, my bad.
That's all right.
Keep it short there.
Yeah.
But today we're going to be talking about the three things that wholesalers need to know.
Correct.
In order to be effective.
Yes. Well, actually, effective and also as a preliminary, okay, tell me these three things so I'll know if I need to look any deeper into this thing or not.
Okay, because I'm feeling like I need to look a little deeper into this motif right now.
Okay.
All right.
Things are not always as they appear.
I get that too, because right now, we look pretty similar, right?
Yeah, we do.
Especially when my hair is down. And I got to tell you, just a sidebar, when I'm running around and I'm, knocking on doors and I'm dealing with sellers and all that good stuff, I don't have any issues. Right? None whatsoever. No one has ever, that I know of, said, oh, man, I'm not going to do business with this guy because of his look or whatever the case.
Well, didn't I tell you how I felt first time I saw you?
You must have felt like a supermodel just walked in the closing room.
Well, you had your dreads down.
Right.
Like I have mine down right now.
That's exactly right.
That's a little clue in case somebody wants to go, check this out. Because, Real
Estate 360.
Yes, that's right. So the first time I saw you, you're kind of huge,
I've heard
6 foot something and 4, I think.
Yep, 6'4".
And 2 or 3, 400.
Yeah, I'm up there a little bit.
Not 400. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm up there a bit.
So, and with the dreads down and,
It's the hair that actually weighs the most.
Oh, is it?
I'm only like 187 pounds.
That explains a lot.
The other 130 pounds comes from my hair.
So I saw you, and you're smiling like, this is, I'm thinking, what the hell is this? I'm thinking, damn.
Predator just walked in.
And then I got to know you, and I said, I want to be more like Miles, and that's why I'm like, doing this
that's what
today.
I'm saying.
It's like, one of these days you're going to be as white as me.
That's going to happen. I mean, if you turn my hand over, I'm already there.
Yeah, you are.
So,
or maybe I'm going to be as dark as you. I'm not sure whatever.
It is what it is. And you know what? That bodes very well, that story, to what it is we talk about on a regular basis. And that is, this is a lifestyle industry. It's a lifestyle business. There's no separation of church and state here.
No, that's right.
This is, if you're doing real estate, this is a lifestyle. You have to be familiar with the language. You have to be familiar with the players. You have to know your processes, know your numbers, this is a lifestyle. It's not a hobby. You know, people that are
It's not?
people that are playing the game of real estate might as well just buy a really, really nice Monopoly board and stay at home and don't lose any money. Because if you're not playing the game, if you're not in the lifestyle of this, the odds of you losing are staggeringly high.
Sort of like what I've done recently on the stock market. But anyway,
it's not your fault.
Lifestyle is, and that's one of the reasons I come in here, you know, like I do with different things.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just a lifestyle. I mean, whatever lifestyle you want to be. And, you know, obviously I have a lot of things I'd kind of like to be.
That's right. Today it's Jamaican-esque.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So, but, you know, we're having fun. But we want to deliver some value to our listeners.
Absolutely.
To the max. And
absolutely.
That's what we're about. We're about real estate investing and how we can communicate that to other people that are interested in this. And if you walk down the street and you ask 10 people in a row if they're in real estate investing or they ever wanted to be in real estate investing, like 9.5 of them are going to say, yeah, man, I want to be in real estate investing, or I've done it and I want to do more. So our audience is broad.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. And again, this is a lifestyle. If you are waking up in the morning and you are feeling like, oh, I hate what I'm doing, or I just don't want to get in traffic, or I don't want to wake up this early, whatever it is, if you're not happy when you wake up in the morning, you need to be doing something else. And even if it's real estate that you're doing and you're just not happy, you need to find something that makes you happy and just do that. For us, it's real estate. It's the ability to wake up every day and know that things are not going to be the same. There's no real, this isn't a mundane lifestyle, right? Now you can make it be that way, or you can create other avenues of learning because, listen, there is a ton of opportunity inside the real estate world to make money, not just in wholesaling, not just in fixing and flipping, but there's money in being the middle guy, connecting the dots, money that you can get from lenders, money that you can get as a owner in terms of long-term holds, whether it's commercial, residential, multifamily, even land, depending on what you're doing with the land and the tax advantages of owning certain types of real estate. There are so many ways for you to not just earn money in the real estate industry, if you will, but to protect the money you already have, to preserve the capital you already have. There's, and that preservation comes with tax advantages and a little bit of increased revenue.
I'm glad you're saying what you're saying, and you've outlined a whole bunch of different avenues that people can travel down in real estate.
Right.
And what I have found is that I've heard somebody say, I can't remember who it was, whatever it is you're doing, if you don't like what you're doing, it might not be the thing that you're doing. It might be the way that you're doing it. Or with real estate, there's some certain aspects of real estate that I don't really care for.
Yeah.
Kind of can't see right now. Let me.
They got to grow the other way.
Yeah, right. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, no, I can't do that. All right. So anyway, so there's stuff I don't really care for in the real estate business, but there's stuff that I love to do in the real estate business. So guess what? I do the things I love to do.
That's right.
I'm not going to get up every day and do stuff I don't want to do.
That's right.
I mean, I might, but how long is that going to last, and how long are we going to be happy doing that?
That's exactly. But that's because you've learned not to chase money.
Right.
Exactly. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to, right?
Sure.
For some people, it's not necessarily chasing money. It's the idea of a security net, with their job or whatever it is. Hey, I get a check on Friday for X amount of dollars. I know how to live my life from there. Yes, I'll be broke on Monday, but I get paid again on Friday, so we get to start the cycle all over again.
That's
so
right.
It's not the kind of life I want to live, right? And I'm pretty sure that most people, if truly given a choice, they would not do that. But that choice comes with your willingness and ability to take action.
Hey, and there's nothing wrong with having a job, working 40 hours and getting a paycheck and doing whatever you do. There's plenty of people that are perfectly happy doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
nothing wrong with that.
There is nothing wrong with that. I mean, our society is built on all types.
Yeah.
And the reality of that is everyone can't be a boss, right? whatever your definition of a boss is.
Yeah.
Right. The person that sits on the pile, pulls they're the Geppetto of their life. You know what I mean? They're the ones that are handling all of everything. For a lot of people, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And that's understandable. But, we're here to have conversations today specifically about the needs of people that are wholesaling, because we run across a lot of wholesalers or quasi-wholesalers,
right?
People that are just basically remarketing, as we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And they're not really investors, they're traders. And more specifically, they're day traders.
They're really marketers. A lot of them are just, regurgitating marketing material.
That's right. But we want to talk about what it means or what you need to know as a wholesaler, as a real wholesaler, to truly be effective and to create value for yourself in the market. But right now, we need to take a quick break.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español. Llámanos. Call us today.
All right, we are back. Thank you for sticking with us. My name is Jason Miles with Real Estate 360 Show.
Steve Connolly.
And Steve, we are talking about the 3 things that wholesalers truly need to know to be a successful wholesaler and really make the most money that they can possibly make potentially in any given deal.
It's the 3 basic information items that everyone needs to know before they start pursuing whatever, the property.
And what are those 3 basic items?
The 3 basic items are, 1, what's the after repaired value? You're going to hear us say ARV a lot. And, that's the jargon in the industry, if you will. But that means after repaired value. So if somebody comes in, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
The second one is, how much is it going to cost to fix it to get it to the ARV?
Yeah, the renovation cost.
And number 3 is, how much are they selling this thing for now?
Today's value. How much
what's the asking price?
Right.
What are
how do we get to that asking price? And how do you build the profit in it for yourself as a wholesaler?
Right. Exactly.
So those are the 3 things we're going to talk about today. So getting right into it. So there's a lot that goes into understanding what the ARV can actually be, right?
There's a massive amount of information. And there's a lot of interpolation that you need to put into this.
Oh, man, that was one I haven't heard before.
Well, just because I look like I'm from Jamaica doesn't mean I speak like I'm from Jamaica, man.
Man. Interpolation, though, that was pretty good. I got to look that one up. No, please, go ahead. So there's a lot that goes into, as you like to say, the interpolation.
Yes, sir.
of the valuation of a particular property, right? That's what I'm really saying is, what do you want to do with this property, right? Do you want to fix it and flip it on a retail level? Do you want to do a rent-ready renovation? I mean, what is the outcome here, really? Because that's going to determine, the kind of work you do to it is going to determine the kind of value that the property can get once it is renovated.
Correct.
Right? So most wholesalers are going to go for the straight highest ARV as possible. Correct?
Of course we will.
Absolutely. So, and there's a thing that people need, as buyers really need to kind of think about. So if you're a buyer and your objectives are to renovate this property and rent it out, your ARV might not be the $300,000 that was initially listed, because that $300,000 is going to be set aside for the people that did a spectacular renovation to the property, right?
That's true. And as wholesalers, we have to take maybe an approach without necessarily knowing what someone is going to do with the property. We just have to say, okay, here it is. And there's a lot of different ways to market that once we have it under control. Now, that's whole nother segment.
That's right.
Control. But so we might take an approach of, okay, we're going to market this as a fix and flip property, maximum retail. So we have to make certain assumptions that somebody's going to come in and do a great job when they renovate it. If they're going to come in and do a poor job of renovation or rent-ready renovation, as you like to call them, and try to get maximum retail, those two things don't go together.
They don't.
Right.
So there are sections of every city that we know are rental communities.
Correct.
Retailing a property there isn't going to get you any more value than what it's already worth. Doesn't matter what you do to it. It's only worth what it's worth. We all know here in Atlanta where the $120,000 communities are.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what you do to that. You can go into that property and put in, tier 5 granite and, the best cabinets ever. That isn't going to add any more value to that property. It's still going to be worth $120,000, right?
That's right. It's not your cost materials plus what you paid for it plus a profit, and that's the retail price. That's not the way it works.
That's right.
It's what somebody is willing to pay and what the property will appraise for. There's been plenty of people who've written contracts on properties through the conventional financing, and then they send an appraiser in there, and maybe the appraisal comes back as $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 less than the contract price. Hey, guess what? The lender's not going to lend you that much money.
That's
on
right.
that property.
So you're either going to have to put up that money as the buyer, or you're going to have to take that off the price as the seller, or find some kind of happy medium between the two of you. But what that does for the market is it now pushes the price, the values in that market up. The ARVs in that particular immediate area anyway, those values will go up that $20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000 at that point, because now you have a new comp in that area that will substantiate that.
If it was higher.
If it was higher.
If they ended up doing that. Unless,
if
the seller just said, okay, I'll take the lower price. I mean, those are based on comparable sales of what's been selling in the same area, so it could be about the same.
That's exactly right. So in an effort to get back to
yes,
how you determine these after repair values. Now, a lot of people will go to their go-to person, which in a lot of cases is a realtor.
Yeah.
Because even we talk about in building our success teams, we talk about having realtors / brokers on your team. And you want them there for a lot of different reasons. But here's the thing. If I'm out here looking at, 20, 30 properties a week.
Yeah.
Right? Because we know that there are people that are looking at 50, 60.
Absolutely.
I mean, even if you're looking at simply just 10.
Hey, when I started, I was looking at 20 a day.
That's what I'm saying. Now, if you're pulling those and you don't have access to MLS and you've got a friend that does, that friend that's an agent, now that friend is trying to earn their living, right? So here you come, every day, every other day with, 10 or 20 properties that you say, hey, I need to know the ARVs on these. Yeah. I need to know, what they can sell for fully renovated and what they look like in the comparables. I need what are called CMAs on each one of these properties, right? Or some version of a CMA. A CMA stands for a competitive market analysis. Comparative market analysis.
Sorry, I didn't mean to correct you.
No, I appreciate you correcting.
Yes.
And they're going to be spending a ton of time trying to get information for you, and they're not getting anything done. So they might do it because you're best buddies right now, and they might do it for a little while. But after a couple weeks of that, they're going to start answering your phone calls less. You're going to wear them out. You're going to wear them all the way out.
Yeah.
So they're not really going to be there for you when you need value. So you have to find these valuations. So now today, we have tools that are available to you so you don't have to become an agent to have access to MLS. There are tools that are available to us today that offer sales that aren't necessarily in MLS, because MLS only counts the sales that are done through MLS.
That's right.
There are sales that are, cash sales that happen off the books all the time of properties that are not listed on the MLS. And sometimes you need to know that, especially in the climate that we're in today, because we have to know, because our lenders want to know what the as-is value of that property is as well.
Correct.
So by utilizing systems like Zillow, Trulia, Redfin,
and even Realtor.com, there's information there too.
Yeah, so you can see all this stuff.
That's right.
So you just pop in the address, you filter all the stuff. Maybe this is an 800 square foot house.
Yeah.
Because we see a lot of that today.
We do.
As we've talked about before, people today in the market we have today, you actually have to create opportunities. You have to create your deals today. So it's not a matter of, oh, I found a great 1,600 square foot home. I don't have to add any square footage to it. I can just go in and fix it up and get it sold. That's great. But everybody's looking for that exact same house.
They are.
Everyone. And there are people with big pocketbooks that are just ready to stroke a check to buy that thing as fast as possible.
Definitely.
So you have to create your deals. You have to create your value. And that happens a lot of times by looking at some of these smaller properties and finding ways to create the value there.
It's vitally important, though, to understand what it is you're looking at when you're doing your research on whether it's Zillow, Redfin, or Trulia, or any of those. It doesn't really matter because, you're looking at this information. But what does it mean? I mean, I've had a lot of people say, I know what I'm looking at here. Can't I just go off the Z estimate? No. Oh, my gosh. Because we had somebody working with us, and she said, hey, you got to get down there and buy this house right now because from what I can see, the value's like $350. And I knew the neighborhood, and I said, this is no way.
Right.
She said, well, I'm looking at comps right here on Zillow there's 3 houses at $350. And so I went over and looked at the Zillow, and there were 3 houses that were $350, $378. And they all had the same exact weird sales price.
Right.
I said, no. What's going on here is this is a package sale that somebody has bought these 3 houses, and they paid $350,768 for all 3.
Right.
So that's not a comp.
Yeah.
And you have to know these things. You have to know what it is you're looking at.
That's right.
What's going to teach you that? Experience or learning from people who are experienced. Who could that be?
It could be us.
Could
be
be
us.
Yeah.
It could be a little bit.
Yep. So, and that's why we're doing these things. And our seminars are $20. It's not.
They're not.
I've been pushing for 5,000.
That's right. These are commitment numbers.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So listen, that's what it means to understand what your ARV is. But we've got to take a quick break.
And then we can talk about how to determine your renovation.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do you need to sell your house? Well, our company will buy your house. We make the process very fast, very easy, and it's all cash. All you have to do is give us a call today.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español, llámanos, call us today.
All right, we are back. Thank you for sticking around. Steve, where are we going to do next?
For Real Estate 360, we got to cover all the degrees, all 360 degrees.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about how to determine the renovation costs on a piece of property.
Okay, but first, we have a correction.
Yes, we do.
So the date given was September 15th, Saturday, September 15th, but in actuality, it is
the 14th.
Saturday, the 14th of September.
That we're doing our seminar on how to use Zillow for all of your research.
Absolutely.
And you're a master at that too, by the way.
You know what? I think we both are.
Yeah.
We can just kind of go in there, whether it's on our phone, on our computer, and just pull up stuff and see what's going on over there. So that's always really good to be able to do because it helps you when you're on the fly.
Absolutely.
Unlike how we started this business out,
Right.
So
this show.
Yeah, exactly. So you gotta get in there. So the next most important thing, thank you for that correction, by the way, is understanding what the renovation costs are going to be. Now, I just want to tell a quick story about that. So I learned this early. We have a lot of people that come to us right now and say, hey, I got this property, whether it's their property or it's a remarket thing that, they're just pitching us someone else's deal. Where I know one wholesaler in particular, we both know, and they love to give you the super high ARV and this super, super low cost to renovate.
Right.
That's a no-brainer. Sign me up.
Exactly.
Right? That is absolutely incorrect. So we get a lot of this particular wholesalers' deals are constantly coming through. And you know what? there might be a good deal in there if you're really willing to look through the deals, or if you look at them, once you're familiar with the areas, you can look at it at a glance and say, okay, that's a good price for that property, or, maybe I can negotiate a little bit because you know who that seller is,
right?
And you know that there's probably a ton of money on top of it, right? Maybe not. But you know if it looks semi-decent, you got to go in, you got to look at it, and you have to really determine values. But wholesalers are notoriously bad at determining what the value, or the cost, of a renovation is going to be. Now, they don't have to be perfect.
No.
But they got to be in the ballpark.
That would help.
Yeah. Right. When you tell me 40 and we go in and we see that it's 90.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a difference.
Exactly. And it changes
that's
the whole
called
parameter.
a cost overrun.
Yeah.
Serious.
Whoa.
I mean, we're not building a nuclear plant here.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But it sounds like it, from
it
that.
Does. But that's what, if you're doing retail renovations, depending on what you have to do to the property, I mean, that's what it has to be. But these wholesalers need to know that stuff, because as a new wholesaler, if you're looking at a property and you just say, I think it's going to be $50,000, it's going to be at least $50,000. Because to you, it sounds like a lot of money. It just may not be enough money. More than likely, it's not going to be.
And there's honestly, there's huge variations, and there's a lot of things that are, can go either way. I mean, what kind of granite, what kind of cabinets are you going to do?
Right.
What is your contractor thinking, and who is your contractor? Is he an investor contractor, or is he what we call retail contractors?
Mm-hmm.
And the retail contractors are the ones that, they have a lot higher overhead. They're dealing with people that like to change their mind a lot.
Yeah.
They're in the higher price dollars. Maybe they're dealing with a lady who wants to do this and she changes her mind next week. So they have to price things a lot higher.
Yeah.
Us investors, man, we know what we want. We want this tier 1 granite, the same one we used last time. Those cabinets, that vanity over there, bam, put them in. How much?
Yeah.
And when we're dealing with these new investors, I had one on one house, and she got 3 different quotes,
mm-hmm.
and one was about what we had said it was going to be. This was pretty conservative, about 30 or 40,000, somewhere in there. And so she got one about that price. She got one for about 70. She got one for $125,000.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so guess what? She was totally confused.
Yeah, and you know what? As an investor, especially as a new investor,
right?
That difference in cost is so far out there for them. One, they feel like somebody's been lying to them.
Yeah.
Somebody is lying to them or trying to cheat them. And they just don't know which way to go because there's such a huge difference in the cost. So you really have to be, that's another conversation about the cost to renovate, which is very good, though, in terms of dealing with contractors. But it's imperative as a wholesaler that you have some form, some system that you can utilize to determine values, even if you don't know what things cost.
Exactly.
Right? You have to work with people, again, that know how to do this, or at least create processes that will allow you to go and within a 5 or 10% cost range, you'll be able to. You got it all together over there.
I'm working on it.
You guys got to be. You got to look at this on YouTube.
I'm working on it.
You have to be able to be within that 5 or 10% actual cost of getting these renovation jobs done, and we've kind of figured out a way to make that easier for people to just kind of go out. All you have to know is the square footage and be able to say yes or no to certain line items, right?
Exactly. And you don't, it's not hard to find the square footage. You just go on Zillow, and sometimes those things, hey, listen, sometimes they're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to go into these houses with your eyeballs open.
That's right. Because we looked at a house, it said on Zillow and on another site, it said 2,800 square feet.
Right.
And we looked in several places because when we walked the property, we said, listen, this is not 2,800 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
If this is 2,800 square feet, I must have grown 3 times my size in the last, 12 hours because this thing is minuscule.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to do a lot then. It's at that point you got to start looking at tax records and see. But in this case, tax records were even wrong.
Well, that's where they pulled it from.
That's exactly right.
More than likely.
That's exactly right. So we had to have an appraiser come out, someone come out and measure that thing. because no one actually knew what the actual square footage is outside of the eyeball we were giving it.
And, you were talking about the form, and it's actually an Excel spreadsheet.
Correct.
That will calculate what a roof will cost, what your soffit and fascia will cost, how much, to put in for doors and windows, carpet, paint. You're going to have to get some education if you want to put in your structural issues.
Right.
But you've got landscaping in there. It's pretty inclusive.
Yeah,
now, it's not the end-all, be-all to everything.
It's just a great place to start.
Right. It's a good estimator form. And then at the end of it, there's a place to put in, okay, contingencies and, okay, what about a 10% contingency above the contingencies for overruns and unexpected things? Because how many times have we seen unexpected things?
Constantly. I mean, it's every single deal, right?
Yeah, that's right.
There isn't one that goes by where I can't think of one that I've done, in all honesty, other than, as you like to say, something that you got to slap the ugly off of it. You're going to spend
right.
$10,000. You're not going over $10,000 because you're just going to fix that $10,000 worth of stuff. And that's that.
Yeah.
But outside of that, when you're doing full renovations, listen, things are going to come up. People are always going to say, especially if you're working with other clients, when you have these cost overruns, they're not going to like it at all. There are contractors, like you said, that you can utilize where they'll give you a bid where no matter what, it's not going to go over that particular price, but it's going to be super high.
Yes, sir. It's going to be big.
It's going to be big. And if they don't go over, they're just going to keep that money.
Yeah.
Basically, if they bid it out at $120,000 and it winds up being $80,000, they just made an extra $40,000 in a lot of cases.
And they may be worth that or they may not. It just depends. Right. But I'll guarantee you the contractors that can put this stuff together, they earn their money.
Yeah.
They really do. And because it's challenging to get people to do what you want them to do and
in a timely manner
and communicate it and then follow up and inspect it and make sure that what you told them is what they did. And then and you get over there and it's like, where did this come from?
Right. Right. And you know what? And that goes into the processes right. that are process implementation that changes on a consistent basis. Okay. From contractor to contractor. We've had contractors where we started out perfect. Communication was great.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what we needed done and wanted done. And that same contractor a little later on just kind of fell off the cliff. And you have to look and say, okay, well, why is that? Is it because they're bad? Is it because they've got too much on their plate?
Yeah.
What is that? Maybe they don't have systems and processes in place. Who knows? So it's a lot easier, having said that, and again, this is just my opinion, it's a lot easier to open up the dialogue and say, hey, listen, how can I help you do what you do better? Because you've already proven you know what to do.
Right.
What's going on? Is it a life challenge?
How can we do it? What can we do? Can we bring in someone to inspect these things so that because you're over here doing some other job?
And more often than not, that's just having the communication and adding something to the process where you could say, okay, here it is written. Here's what we're doing. Project management software is great for that.
We should do
a
seminar on how to determine these costs using the form. And why don't we do that in November? Whenever the Saturday is in November, we'll come back with
Absolutely.
a date on that one.
Yeah, that'll be great because, listen, you guys are out there and you're looking for deals every day.
Yeah. And
you may not really know. You're just kind of eyeballing, or maybe you're trying to get a contractor to come out there and do it for you, and they're charging you, $50, $100, $75, whatever. This is going to help you move through your process a lot faster. And don't worry about it not being exact because, like you said just a second ago, if you pick 5 contractors are going to give you 5 different prices.
Absolutely, they will.
So, we go off the cost of what it's supposed to be for the area, the city that we're in. And that's how we build those. And they work effectively here for you in the city of Atlanta or in the state of Georgia, period.
Let's take a break.
So, let's take a quick break and get right back. I hope you guys got a lot out of that. See you in a few.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español, llámanos, call us today.
All right. We are back. We are back, and thank you again for riding with us. I hope you guys are enjoying the information that we have for you today. Steve.
Yes.
What is our third point?
Our third point is, what is the asking price? And we were just discussing this. What do we mean asking price? Are we buying? Are we selling? So we're looking at the buying side.
Yeah.
So what are they asking for this?
Yeah. What is
property?
the seller that we have identified as a seller willing to sell us this property for?
Exactly. Now let me tell you a little story. Had printed off a whole
Hold on
bunch.
a second. Is this like a dream sequence story?
No.
Okay. All right.
This is like this is a flashback.
Got it.
It's
Okay.
not really a dream sequence. It's a
Hit
little
the laugh
flashback.
button. Hit the laugh button.
Anyway, so I printed off a bunch of these houses, because this is a sorting process. This whole real estate thing is just a sorting and an understanding of value process, right? So I had like 100, of these things printed off, like MLS or Zillow sheets or whatever. And on there, I'm looking for a couple things to determine, what I want. And one of those, of course, is the asking price. That's one of the major things.
Yes.
And so we already know, we've talked about what the ARV is. So all these are in that one particular area, so I know what the ARV is, right? All right. You guys are laughing. Stop it. And so I kind of have an idea what the renovation costs are.
Yes.
Yeah. And finally, so I'm looking at the asking price. And so I've got 100 of these, and I'm just flipping through. And this guy I know who's kind of a real estate investor, I'm flipping through these. And I'm going like this and this and this and this, and then, okay, here's one. I set it over here. I keep going, and I end up with like 5. I'm sorting, right?
Right.
And he looks at me and says, damn, I've never seen anybody sort property so fast. I said, it's just a sorting process. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for the best price for the biggest number of square footage in an area that I know,
right?
And I know about what it's going to cost to fix it. So I'm looking for the best price on the size.
Right.
And so once I've got that, then I sort that down a little further. And that's the whole game. Now,
it's a pretty good game.
Pretty much it.
Yes, it is. Okay.
So I got to get all these. I don't know what's so funny. I mean, I have no clue, but I'm serious about this.
I know, once again, if you guys are listening to this, you have got to go to the Real Estate 360 Show channel on YouTube. You got to get there. You got to get there. And listen to us, download us, subscribe to us on the podcast as well. But again,
why do I do that? Why am I doing that? Because if I can sort down to the 5, and then I can go drive those and look at them and verify that what I think I'm seeing on paper is in reality what I'm seeing, then those are the ones.
You're such a diva.
I know. Stop it. So you're just teasing me. Now cut it out. Now, so I'm going to go verify what I think I'm hallucinating here on these pages here.
Right.
And so, this is nowhere near what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be 50 to renovate. It's going to be 250 or whatever. Right. It's a tear down. Or there's a burn damage that didn't mention it on there. So skip all those. So I get down to 2. I'm trying to find the 2 that are going to give us the best opportunity, the closest thing to our formula.
Yes.
Our ARV times 70% minus. And I know it's not nice to go through numbers on the air like this, but
it's good though. It's good. It's good because they can always go to the podcast or the channel and hear it again.
Right. Times 70% minus your renovation costs equals your
minus your potential profit as well.
Okay, right. Well, yeah, from a wholesaler's point of view.
From a wholesaler's perspective.
Yeah. Minus your profit gives you your MAO.
Yes, your maximum allowable offer, your MAO, which is a common term. I wish we could have coined it.
Yeah.
But it's a common term.
It is. So once I've sorted all those things down, now I have the highest opportunity for a successful offer.
Yeah.
Because now those prices are as close to the MAO as I can get them, and some of them may be better than the MAO. Some of them may be a little higher than the MAO.
That's right. So, how that works, guys, is, Steve, first of all, I like your process, the sorting process. I think that's important. It's a time saver.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are just going to put in those 100 offers and wait for the phone to ring or just get a response from them, which ultimately you wind up with the one or two anyway.
That's right.
So save yourself a bunch of time and driving and gas and so on and so forth. But, once you've determined what that ARV is, and let's just kind of use some numbers here, right? Let's say you've looked at this house, and again, you've determined that fully renovated, this home will bear a $300,000 sale, an after repair value.
Yeah.
Right? So you said, okay, that's pretty good. Now you've gone in and you've determined that it's going to take $75,000 to renovate it by using the construction worksheet.
Okay.
And it says, okay, $75,000 is what it's going to cost to do this. So it's now your $300,000 that you have times the 70%. Now the 70% is what the lender is going to lend, or any lender today is generally going to lend 70 to 75%.
Any hard money private investor equity type lender is looking at that 70% number, and that's what all the buyers are looking for because they want to leverage their money.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So
that's that 70%. So 70% of 300 is what?
$210,000.
$210,000. So we have a $210,000 where everything is going to be inside that number now. The cost to renovate is going to be in that number.
Right.
Your purchase price and your profit is going to be in that number.
Yeah.
Right? So it's $300,000 times 70% equals $210,000. We've already determined that the renovation is going to be $75,000. So we have to subtract that now from the $210,000.
Right.
That's going to give us what?
$135,000.
That's right. $135,000. Now we're back down to just two more variables: the actual cost that you're going to pay for that property and your profit. So now it turns into how much do you want to make realistically?
How much can you make sometimes too? I mean,
exactly. Exactly.
Because it depends on what the seller's willing to accept.
That's right, and you just never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes like us, when we see, we may have an idea of what that person is going to sell that property for. We may not. But we're going to start off somewhere around a $10,000, $12,000 profit mark. In our mind, it doesn't mean we're just going to offer $120,000.
No,
we're not going to start off where we want to finish.
Well, we've got the 135. We say let's take 10 off.
Yeah,
so that leaves us with 125
maximum,
and that's kind of where we want to end up.
That's
and
right.
Sometimes we might end up at 128.
Yeah, sometimes we might wind up at 108.
That's right.
You just never know. I mean, you set a mark for yourself to hit. It's not an absolute. It's not written in stone. It's like you said, it's what you want to make and what you can make are two different things. So you just get in there and you start making offers. You find out how much you want to make. Maybe that's 10, maybe that's 15. And then you start making offers well below that $120,000 or $125,000 mark to see where that seller wants to wind up. And you bring your contracts with you.
Yeah.
You don't say, okay, we're going to offer this. I'll be back tomorrow. A lot of people will do that.
Oh, I know. And they never
I'll send you a DocuSign, or they'll try to come back, but the seller has now talked to 3 other people.
Yeah.
That have offered him maybe more money, maybe a quicker close. So you've lost your opportunity to close. Now that's all part of the negotiations process, but you're there and you've done the work and you have to consummate the deal while you are together at the moment that everyone says yes to the questions.
I remember one time I forgot my contracts, and I had a purchase that I was doing, and I said, "Hey, do you have a piece of paper and a pencil?"
Yeah.
Or a pen?
Yeah.
And I wrote I wasn't going to wait.
That's right.
I said, "We're going to sit down. I'm going to write a contract right here, right now."
That's right.
So we just wrote it out, and I said, "Here, sign that." He signed it. I signed it. Bam.
And that's legal. That's
Sure,
a legal document now.
Absolutely.
So and that's what you do. So listen, we have covered today
everything you need to know about
as a wholesaler.
Wholesaling investing.
How do you get your ARVs? Where do you go? What do you look for? Use those filters on Zillow, on Trulia, whatever it is you choose to look for. Use those filters. Look at what properties are selling. Even if you're looking at a small, tiny house and it needs to be larger to get these values, look at what those other values are, because it's going to help you determine what your renovation costs are.
Right.
We've talked about how you can get involved or get those renovation costs. And by the way, if you want to look at those sheets or get a copy of those sheets, reach out to us
on realestate360show.com.
realestate360show.com. Leave us a message.
Hit the contact button, send us an email.
Yep.
We'll send them to you.
And we'll get to you.
Or
That's
better
right.
yet, we're going to have a seminar on that in November.
That's right. Or come to the one on September 14th.
September 14th, which is
Zillow. That's how to use Zillow. But I promise you we're going to be going over all of these other things.
And we're doing one October 19th.
Yes.
On success in your first 30 days.
Yes.
Everybody says, hey, man, I need to make money on my first one in order to survive to the next one, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? The first one to make money on, that's the hardest one.
Yeah.
Rookies are going to make mistakes.
Because that's the point of not just the mistakes they make, but the method hasn't been proven to them yet, right?
And they see it on TV and they think, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
It's not the same
No,
on television as it is in the real life world out there.
That's right. There's a lot more work that goes into it, and these things aren't preordained to be.
No.
So, you have to really put in the work. So we want you to know these things, and we want you to be successful if you're going to be out there, because a lot of times we're going to wind up working with a lot of the wholesalers that are out there. I mean, we work with a lot of people. Or if you're working with other people, it's important that those buyers respect your work. And they're only going to do that if you do great work. If they know, hey, this person has this is a quality a project or an offer that they're giving us.
Right.
We can appreciate and respect what it is they've put down on paper.
Exactly. Yeah. Let me say something real quick about our website, realestate360show.com. You can find our podcast, our video playlist. Our seminars are there. So that's really the only thing you need to remember is realestate360show.com.
And make sure you get there. So listen, guys, thank you so much for the time you spent with us today. Go and check us out. We'll see you next week.